Hello everyone and welcome back to Divinity Original Sin 2. In my last video, we took a look at the Game Master mode that ships with the Divinity, poked and prodded around in it, saw what all it could do, what all it had in there, and in that video I mentioned that my goal was to use the Game Master mode to create a custom module, and that's what we're going to start doing now. So I think in this video we'll get started on that. It'll probably take several videos to get through it, but let's get started. So I'm going to load up the Game Master area by clicking on Game Master, going to the Game Master menu, and I'm going to click on Prepare Campaign. And I've done a few things in here already. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click Create Campaign. Now the campaign we're going to be creating is called Troll Days, and this is a campaign that I actually wrote off to the side, and it was intended to be implemented in Sword Coast Legends. So for a lot of you watching this video, it's a good bet that you played Sword Coast Legends, or at least intended to. The game ended up being a big disappointment for a lot of us, but this Divinity Game Master module is considerably better. And so I took that module that I wrote for Sword Coast Legends and I kind of updated it to what I think we can do with the new Game Master function in Divinity. And so I'll be taking a lot of content from what I've already written for that. So I'm going to go off over here to the side and excuse me, and grab the introductory details. Nestled on the shores of the running river, the bustling trading village of Yorn acts as the center of all commerce for miles around. Vast barges of tea and sugarcane flow regularly up and down the river, carrying their wares to far-off lands and returning with tremendous wealth. The surrounding lands prosper greatly at the convenience of the shipping channels, but the riches also attract the attention of a less savory element. So with that description, we also want to come over here and grab an add-on that I wrote. The Game Master mode is really good, but it doesn't do everything you want to do. So there's some things I wanted to do with storytelling of this module that I just can't do with the Game Master functionality. So I did a few things in the Divinity Engine editor, and so we're going to need that add-on, and I continue to add to this add-on as well as I need to. So we'll just include that add-on here as we're creating it, and then we'll go ahead and create the campaign. Okay, so after the loading screen is finished for the campaign, we're presented with this map, and in actuality, this map is actually, you can change this map to another image, and they ship with several maps that you can work from. But actually, for this module, this map is actually ideal. Now I don't need all of this map, so I can actually zoom in on this map to just the part that I want. I'm probably going to use an area about like this. And really, to start the players out, I really can just focus in on an area like this. And so here they have this little party icon. This is the party icon that'll move around when you move your players around from different locations. One of the first things we want to do is we want to go ahead and create a couple of pins. I'm going to go ahead and create one here, or I can just drag it on and just put one right here. This is actually going to be the town of Yorn. And then on top of that, we also are going to need another location over here, and this is the road to Yorn. And this is actually the first place the players are going to end up going. So the player's goal is to travel to Yorn, but we're going to stop off on the way there because they're going to encounter something that kind of gets the adventure going. I'm going to go ahead and call this map World Map. I don't have more than one map for this adventure, so there's just going to be that one map. So when they are getting ready to encounter what they're going to encounter here at Yorn, we really want to do it with a vignette. So let's just go over to a vignette here. We could create a new one, right? But they give you the default one is here, so we're just going to go ahead and start with this one. This is not the image I need, though. I think we want to do something like this with the forest path kind of deal here. And so, to go along with that, I think it also probably should be green and maybe have a different border that looks a little more leafy. And so this is probably what we want it to look like. And the players will be presented with this right before we go into what's happening at that location. So I'm going to go off to the side here again, grab some text that I want here. As you approach the outskirts of Yorn, you notice an overturned wagon ahead. From a distance, it appears as if a caravan has crashed, or maybe it has run afoul of wrongdoers. It's not clear how long ago this happened, but the fresh blood on the ground tells you it couldn't have been too long ago. And so the players will be presented with this, and then I also want to give them a couple options to pick here, right? I want to give them the option to approach and investigate the caravan. They could also choose to search the surrounding area. For survivors. And so the players can pick these things, and you can go in different directions as a game master depending on what the players picked from these things. During the game, you'll see the player's portrait appear next to this selection, so you'll know who picked what. And you can even split off the group and send them in different directions if you want to. So this is the vignette they'll be presented with right before we head on over here to Yorn. And so, I'll show them the vignette, talk about those options, and then we'll load the scene. And or you could even load the scene and then show them the vignette if that's how you want to do it, right? And then we'll travel here, and travel here is only available when the game's actually running. But when we go there, we actually want to load a level so that we can have some gameplay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to bind a new level, and we're actually going to take one of the custom ones I made, which is this Road to Yorn. And so we're going to take and apply that, and that way we can say load level during the game or during prep, and we'll go ahead and load that level. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and we'll load up that level. This is fairly quick. And so this is the custom level that I created using the editor. Now, I started with one of the basic GM levels. There's a GM level you can pick that looks exactly like this, but without all the crash debris and all the stuff from this caravan that I'm telling the story about. And so let me get rid of this piece mode because that just gets annoying. So I basically took the basic GM level, copied that, and then added what I needed to it because I can't get this look and feel from the regular GM tool. So one of the first things we want to do now that we're in here, the first thing you always want to do, or I like to do when I start one of these levels, is I want to place my player's start point. And so, because if I don't do it now, I'll forget. So here's the edge of the map. As we can see, we can't go any further into this red. The players won't be able to walk that way. But we get right here to the edge, and then I just want to rotate them so they're facing down the road. And so the players will start there. The next thing I want to do is I want to, at some point when the players eventually come and check out this crash, I want them to find a note that kind of indicates who this cart was being delivered to, so that they can hopefully then move on and tell that person about what happened here, and that kind of gets advances the story a bit. So I'm going to go in here to items, and I'm going to go in here to items, and I'm going to look for I don't remember where it is, but I'm looking for a book. So just show me a book, and I don't want any of the spell books. I just want a regular old book, and something like this book should do nicely. It's open though. Is this one closed? Yeah, this one's closed. I like this one better. So let's drop that book in the scene, and now there's a book there. And what I want to do is manage it. And from here, I can change what it's called. And I want to call this the Delivery Manifest. And a book just detailing the contents and destination for this caravan. spell that right. And then what I can do is go to this tab of the description and I can actually say what's in the book, right? So deliver to, and I hope I get this guy's name right. He comes a little later. Jarl Venson. And let's say 4 containers food, 7 containers tools, 2 containers medicine, and 400 gold. And so I just kind of tacked on the medicine there, just in case the players had some notion they might not want to deliver any of the stuff or tell Jarl about it. Maybe the medicine might inspire them to say, hey, maybe somebody needs this medicine, kind of thing. So just as a little extra added incentive to maybe do something about this book. And so now if I close that, this now says delivery manifest. Should be easy for them to spot, but if you hold down Alt, of course, on the keyboard, you'll be able to see it anyway. So we have the book, and so the next thing I want to do is this wagon was obviously pulled by a horse, right? But Divinity doesn't have a horse. It doesn't have a horse in the GM mode, the editor, anywhere in the game. There's no horse. So I've never seen an RPG game that didn't have a horse at some point, but this one doesn't have a horse. I think, though, we can fake it. And I think we can fake it by doing something like this. I'm going to grab this bull by the horns and just set him right here. And he's there. And if I unpause him, you see he's got all these animations and everything. And I am going to actually say he's a horse. But he doesn't look much like a horse anyway. But, he's kind of horse-shaped and he's brown. But guess what? He needs to be dead anyway. And now when he's dead, if somebody told me that was a horse, sure, I could believe that from certain angles, maybe. But, those horns are a dead giveaway, right? So we need to do something about the horns. And I think we can do something about the horns by grabbing one of these baskets and just kind of setting it there. And maybe it'll cover up the horns like that, right? So now I hover over it. It says it's a horse. It's colored like a horse. I don't know. It's not too far not shaped like a horse. So, okay, it's a horse. So there, we have a horse, a dead horse. Next up, we want to. Well, we want to show there were people in this caravan, obviously, right? This caravan actually had 2 delivery guys and an armed guard. So we want to get that across. So we're going to go back to humanoids now. And I could pull somebody out of an archetype, or I could go straight to a civilian. I think I'm just going to grab a civilian, and I want him to be a man. So we're just going to drag a civilian male here. And if we zoom in on this guy, here's what he looks like. And I could believe that's a guy that drove this caravan, right? Level 1 is good enough. He's going to have a name, Sorn. I think appearance-wise, I don't know, we could adjust that a little bit. The long hair looks good. The hair color, go with a blonde. The shirt, that looks good. The pants look fine. Maybe it was a hot day. Some capri pants, sure. And then, I don't know, as an inventory, I think the only real way to add, I want them to have some gold so that the players can kind of make maybe a decision whether or not they want to loot this body. They probably will, but let's just make them make that choice. The only way we really know to do that is to give him stock. There may be a better way to do it, and I think there are a couple other ways to do it, but I think this is probably the easiest. If anybody knows a really good way to get gold into his inventory quickly, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. But for now, I'm gonna call him a food trader, common level 1, and just generate. It generates way more than I want. I'm gonna leave that herring. Now I'm gonna leave the apple there. I'm just gonna delete all this other stuff. I don't want any of it. I really just want him to have some gold. Having a herring for a good snack on the long trip might have been a good idea too, so we'll just do that. For this stack of gold here, that's way too much. I don't want him to have that much. So I'm just going to split it down to what I want, maybe 30 something, and then delete the stack afterwards. So there. Soren now has 37 gold and a couple of apples. So yeah, you can loot his body if you want. Basic AI is good, neutral is fine. Don't really need any AI, and don't really care what his neutrality is, mostly because poor Soren here is actually dead. So there you go, Soren. You're dead. The caravan, needs an armed escort as well. So we're going to go back to archetypes now, and I'm actually gonna grab the bouncer. He looks like a good example of somebody who would have been out here traveling with this caravan trying to protect it. And so we're going to manage this guy, and he's going to be Magnus the Muscle. And I think it'd be a good idea if Magnus also had some gold on him as well. So we're going to do the same deal with him. That orange is a good idea. So let's delete all the other stuff. And we're going to go ahead and split this. Now he's a paid guard, so believable he could have a little more money, so maybe 80 something. And then we'll delete the rest. And so that's what we got there. Now level 5 is excessive. Level 2 sounds pretty good. Basic AI, ally. Now I'm going to set him back to neutral. Not that it matters, so I'm going to kill him too. So his appearance is good. I like the way he is. The one thing I want to do though is I want to give him a couple of items that kind of match his gear that we can see here. So I'm going to give him a leather chest piece that looks like it matches what he's wearing. There's several leather armors in the list. They're just basically different appearances. So which one do I want? Yeah, let's see. Maybe this one. This one looks pretty good. Common is good enough, and level 2 is good. So we're going to create that, and it's going to put it in my Game Master inventory, and that's good. And so then what I can do is I can go ahead and drag it to him. Now he actually has that armor. And so I also want to create that axe on his back. I would call it a battle axe, but in this game it's called a two-handed axe. Because battle axe is one-handed. So two-handed axe. Nah, that doesn't look like the one he's got. I want the one that looks like the one he's got. Yeah, that one there. Common. Level 2 again. Let's create that. We're done with item generation. Let's go ahead and give it to him. And so he's got it. So he's got those 2 items now. And that is Magnus. So, way to go, Magnus. You get to die now too. So, there we have it. Soren and Magnus now both dead. Actually, I think I want Magnus to be a little further over here. Can I move him? Oh, please tell me I can move him. Alright then, I can't move him while he's dead. So, Magnus, you're alive. And now I can move him. I want him to be a little more over here. And now we'll kill him again. Bad day for Magnus. Okay, so we have Soren, we have Magnus. When you kill an NPC like this, you're going to get the blood, and in the game, I think blood would really be a surface there under the dead character or the damaged character or what have you. But as you can see, it goes away. So we need to go ahead and create some blood surfaces. So let's go ahead and create some blood surfaces, and horses have lots of blood. So we're going to make sure there's lots of blood over here by the horse. And maybe even over here a little bit, yeah. So yeah, lots of blood by the horse. Soren's got lots of blood. He's seeping over into the book. I like it. And there we go. So there's blood there. I'm also going to add a little blood this way. And I'm also going to add more blood up the hill here. And then I'm going to go over here by these bushes and I'm going to add more blood here. And the reason I'm doing that is because up there by the bushes, remember I said there were 3 people in this cart. Up there by the bushes, we're going to, no, items, sorry. We're going to have a pile of body parts sitting there, and that's our 3rd occupant of the cart. Something bad happened to him. And so that is most of the scene. The reason the body parts are here is because this was no accident. A couple of lesser trolls caused this mayhem. Now, lesser trolls are not really part of the game. The game has a forest troll and a mountain troll. But I can't have my level 1 players go up against forest trolls. I mean, that's going to be a slaughter. I could just take forest troll and make him level 1. But in my story, I wanted to explain why these trolls were so weak. So I actually created a troll that's actually smaller in stature than the normal forest troll. But otherwise, this is a forest troll. Just level 1 version. So they are smaller. A normal forest troll is, as you can see, much bigger. So these guys are hiding over here in the bushes. And we're right at the edge of the map here, so I'm going to drag them into the bushes, but they're just going to barely be in the bushes. And this one as well. And so these guys are both in the bushes. Now, as I said, when the players discover this crash site, they've got some choices whether or not to go straight to the crash site and investigate, go searching out in the woods. They may or may not spot them. We'll make them do a die check to see if the trolls are spotted, if the trolls are going to ambush them or not, that sort of thing. So until the trolls are spotted or decide to attack, we really don't want them active. So to the players, there are no trolls. All there is a caravan that's crashed or something's happened and people are dead and all sorts of things. So I think the only other thing I want to do here is I want to add a few more surfaces. Let's get rid of this one. I want to add a few more surfaces. Specifically, I want some oil. That can be handy for players if they want to play with that concept. I have to be careful not to get oil near any fire in the editor because that'll cause a chain reaction and destroy everything I've set up here. So I don't want to get oil near any fires. Now these fires here were done in the editor. They're not real, but I think I do want some real fire. And so we're going to add some actual fire. As far when I say actual, I mean, of course, they're real surfaces. And so we'll do that. Fire in this game looks really nice. And so, yeah, that pretty much covers it. So that's what we're going to do for now. And then in the next session, we will go through and do some more of this scene. There's a couple more vignettes, some choices the players want to make, and then they'll move on from here. So that's good for now. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.